This is probably what you should not do with 5 miles left in the tank. Yeah, the check engine light's on for the PO420. Scotty Kilmer's lacquer thinner trick did not work. But right now, I am currently towing a Subi. Let's see. Let's see what I can see right here. There's a... All right, completely stock towing a Subaru. We're gonna see what kind of time we can make on this pole. So as soon as this, I'm gonna put it in sport mode and get some tautness in the cable, and we're about to. We'll wait for this, whatever this is. All right, now full throttle, pulling the Subaru. All right, he bumped his horn.
Oh. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. It just broke away at the right time.
A little bit of action, but the drain plug bolt on a Subaru.
It's a T70 drain plug.
T70 drain plug bolt. Looks like got it busted loose. Now we're just gonna watch it as it pours out and see the condition of 100 and how many thousand miles?
50 some odd thousand.
150 some odd thousand.
I've seen worse.
Okay, it's not that bad. Oh, look, now it just got even better. Now look how clean it looks.
Like a good beer.
Let's see what the phone thinks.
You're getting real close. Okay.
So first we just started by draining all the transmission fluid here with a T70, and we've got the bolt right here, and it's got this crush washer on it, and that's a pretty specific crush washer you might have to get from the dealer or something. I mean, the auto parts store might have a selection with that many, but the trick is just pop it off and get your MAP gas torch. And I learned this from Mike Taki from Speed City Cycle. You just cook this gasket, and it will plump it up, and you can reuse it. You should. Typically you get it hot enough to where you can see it glow a little bit. See, I got all cherry red. Now probably put it to the side for a second, or maybe even just on the pavement, or on that little bit of water or something. But yeah, you definitely don't want to burn yourself. And then after a second, when it cools down, so it's already plumped, and then you can put it back on and reuse it. Naptown Tuner here. So we're just doing the clutch on this vehicle, and we're taking a look under it and trying to figure out how we're going to do this job. First off, yeah, we have some oil leak. We could get into, and we will probably in the future do head gaskets and a timing belt and everything else. But right now, it looks like the easiest way to tackle this specific clutch job is just to take this transmission out this way. So first, we're looking at what comes out next. We drained the transmission fluid. Now we're going to take some exhaust off. So we've got these bolts right here that look like they're in pretty good shape. This will come off fairly easy. It comes back to right here with a mounting bolt and a hanger. And it looks like this is pretty nice with a little hanging spot where it can kind of hold it there. Otherwise, you could take it apart up further higher. But we've got a donut gasket right here, but we don't have the gasket. So I'd like to keep this together if we can, since we can't put it together unless we go get that special order gasket. So further back, we've got this exhaust hanger that's rusted clean off. So we'll have to address that. And then if we go further back here, there's a, you can probably see it on the other side, that there's a hole rusted clean through that exhaust. So these studs might fall clean off. We're just gonna take this part of the exhaust down right now. Let's get started. So I want to do more of the filming, and I want to have my buddy do most of this work, but I want to show a few of these tips as well. So I got this new right angle impact, and for instance, this might be a good tool to fit it, because impacts, even though this doesn't have a lot, sometimes this might get into spots where a regular impact couldn't, and it would be handy for instance, just like this, to bust loose exhaust, because exhaust is some of the most difficult hardware to get loose. Now, even with an impact, sometimes I prefer to bust it loose with a breaker bar, or just initially get that bust loose, and then the rest of it you can get off with a jolt of an impact. So for instance, this top one right here, this is a Matco socket right here, and this is specifically designed for instance, exhaust, like rusty nuts, to where some of it or most of it might be completely gone, but it's gonna grip on the very middle of the nut. So whenever I can use these, I like to use them, even though this hardware looks great and it looks like it's gonna come right apart. But for instance, if I were to use this regular ratchet and try to get it on this top one, it's still a little bit crooked. And if I were to try to get on there and twist it and torque on it, it's going to apply a sideways force. Whereas if I were to put this breaker bar on here, I can get it in here now, and then now I can get completely straight. And then see how difficult it was just to get that to bust loose to begin with? Now it's loose, and it might even come off practically with your fingers at this point. But see, even there, that's you couldn't, even if I was able to get on there a little bit, that's too much sideways angle. We've got this 3/8 swivel. Still not even enough. That's really where the power tools shine, the impacts shine. Most of the time, I always suggest just busting stuff loose by hand anyway, and you have to get it completely straight before you bust it loose. But that's probably most of the hard part. Let's just get on with dropping the exhaust. We'll just get it out of the way like this. Yeah, I had to get my flat blade pry bar here, so maybe I can just nudge this washer right out after I got it screw jacked all the way up, and then I can get that bolt loose. I mean, I can get behind the washer's loose. You know what? I think it calls for it needs to be put in mechanical service position, And how we do that is, give me just a second. Give me just this is how they do it at the factories. What you want to do too is there's sparks and metal and stuff, so you just want to kind of put the wheel up there and then just close your eyes, because you don't want anything in your eyes when you do this. Alright. I'm pretty much a mechanical surgeon, so I don't know if you're talented like me, but see? Perfect. Let's move on. So we're looking at just taking that bracket all the way out now. The one that's right up here on the transmission. But it's tucked in there pretty good. So we got the straight ratchet wrench. And then hopefully they can come out by hand once they get loose. Easy enough just to take all the way out. That way we don't even have to mess with it. Just a couple bolts. All right, what do we got to do next? So we're loose up front here. Just got it hanging dangling. He's going for the full-on. He's going for the full-on torsion method.
I call it the twisted shout.
The full-on rusty trusty bendy twisty method. Whoa, whoa, savagery. Oh my goodness. That is one full-on exhaust.
I don't make them like they used to.
This part right here, if you didn't know, it's completely unnecessary anyway. Okay. Let's get some work out of this crazy right angle impact. Make sure it's going the right way. That thing will twist them bolts right off. spin it, huh? Or do you think you'll be able to get to those two top ones?
I think the bigger
No swing.
Losing my leverage at that angle.
Maybe. And are they finger manageable?
I think so. The top ones will probably have to be pretty loose. Oh, there we go.
You didn't even get to use some penetrating oil.
I guess I probably still would have.
No, they were fine. No rust accumulation.
Yeah, it's just like the parts themselves have some surface rust to them.
So now we're getting this drive shaft out of the way. So all the bolts are removed. We're gonna pop this loose. So we get a pry bar. Oh, that came off real easy. And then it's sometimes if you want to be real careful with, like, some drive shafts might be fragile. You might not even want to let the drive shaft just hang. So sometimes if you got the right tools, you can support the weight right there until you take it all the way down. But like just that might not be a big deal. But for instance, like if you left it there all night, kind of pulling on that joint, it might not be bad. Or I mean, might not be good is what I meant to say. Let's move on. So he's getting the carrier bearing loose. Okay, we need to move to something more capable. That one's just pissing my neighbors off. Let's try the fuel. Same thing, M12, but it's actually the legit style impact. That is some tough bolts. That one came out better. Here, I'll grab that, and then I'll let him pull it out.
Oh, wow.
This is what I want to do maybe, is just have people come over and work on their own cars, and maybe I'll help a little bit, but really I just want to be like a ESPN commentator and just be like, maybe I'll give like mild suggestions that are really kind of like heckles, but really I'll just kind of like, you know, I'll talk about like when it's the first quarter, timeouts, like I could be the coach, like I could coach, but and then, you know, we'll do halftime and a halftime show, and then, you know, maybe I'll put plays together, but I don't really, I'll just sit here in my chair and just commentate. That's what I want to do. We've got some stuff coming apart on top apparently. Let's see what all comes apart.
Might be too long. Or I guess we can get an extension.
Where you going?
I was gonna get the slave cylinder off there.
Probably annoying to have a camera guy over your shoulder while you're working, asking you questions.
I'm gonna have to get an extension.
What are you doing? What's next? What extension?
Quarter-inch
What do you need?
extension.
How long?
Probably as long as this one is over here.
What color?
Potentially shorter. Green's my favorite.
Green?
They do the best extensions.
Are you done yet? Did
Pretty
you drop
much.
it? I think I heard it break.
Sounds like I actually torqued something for once. Okay. Well, that's just too easy. It wasn't even fun. Didn't struggle at all.
Why is this big thing still here?
The engine?
No, this big plastic thing. Why didn't you replace it with a cone?
Just didn't have the money. It'll get there one day.
Where's the turbo?
It fell out. This is a non-turbo now because it fell out.
Where's the hood scoop?
When you don't have a turbo, just go away.
Where's the intercooler?
It's still at the parts dealer where we'll purchase it from.
Where's the blow-off valve?
It blew away.
Oh, that's what you're taking out. What's that?
The secondary cylinder.
What's next?
We saw some brackets on either side. Not sure if they needed to be out. Couldn't tell if they were hitting from down there. Maybe it's just on this side.
What's it take to take this out?
Oh. Yeah. I guess I can go. Oh. Apparently just checked it. That pulls apart. That's a 8 or flat. Phillips.
Why is it white inside there?
So you can check it for dirt easier.
Oh, okay. I'm learning stuff every minute on Subarus.
It's what appears to be a ground strip or my negative. No, it's my negative terminal. That's probably important.
And a starter in a weird mount of some kind. Some kind of weird pedestal mount.
Oh.
Starter motor action.
It's not very tight.
Oh.
Oh, good lord. Be very still. I don't want this to fall into the transmission.
Okay, it's still on there. Take it off.
It's threading itself in. It's assimilating with the other side.
Oh, it was.
Wow. It didn't want to leave. Is there not one down there?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, I thought there was a set.
That's the nut side too.
Oh, okay. It's just super long. Reverse, reverse.
real quick, hold up. In this particular
Oh
case,
yeah, I might hit the firewall with
well, this is a quarter. This is a quarter drive, so I don't know. I don't know how much that can take before this one breaks.
Oh shit.
Being 14 millimeter, that one's kind of big for quarter drive. So in this particular case, the best thing to do is to take
Well,
this.
there's no room. I'd need 2 wrenches, and I think I could do it.
And then pop it back like this. And then now that it's busted loose,
Oh, the nut's on that side.
so bust the nut, then you can use the ratchet and you don't have to worry about the tip. So go ahead and, I don't even know what it looks like over here. So go ahead and get that nut off from that side now. So the bolt side is this side. It looks like it is a bolt that goes all the way through. So it's also best practice to hold the bolt side with the wrench and then screw it loose on the nut side like that. Does it fit still?
Yeah, put this if you want to. There we go.
They might warranty it if you break it, but when you're getting into a bolt size this big, you always just, the best insurance policy is to always break stuff loose with the wrench first. So the back side is just welded on to the frame. So let's see if this 3/8 fuel gets it loose. So this is a 3/8, and this is still a 14 millimeter. So
Also going in the wrong direction.
So this still being a 14 millimeter, you can put like twice as much or more torque on it than that quarter drive. See, sometimes when my Milwaukee tools are working really hard, it kicks on my air compressor because
He wants to know it's still there.
someone told me that these were Bluetooth wireless. I missed it, but he took it out, and now look at how pretty it is. I think you should just leave it like that because I like looking at the transmission. It looks better like this. So.
I'm big on the minimalism.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's just some unnecessary. Engineers are crazy. They put way too much stuff in there and just cramming up engine bays these days. Look at old cars. Old cars look way better. So I think, yeah, that you got enough mounts on the bottom already. Okay, what's next? You got flappy connectors and everything.
Well, that's not on the transmission, is it? That's still manual.
Look at this. We were seeing this earlier. This is for your automatic transmission module, right?
Yeah, ATF fluid.
Okay.
Yeah.
We already drained that.
Keeps the
Torque converter.
PCM cool.
Yeah.
That side we can get some out.
Would you do me a favor and pull out that grommet real quick so I can see it? That ball right there, you see it busted through? All the way busted through that arm. Can you move that arm at all? It's busted through so much that it's just kind of pivoting and hanging on that ball. We'll get it out and get a better view. But that's what it's going to look like when it's broke. I'm pretty sure we're done with the top. We're gonna lift it up and see what else we can get from the bottom and drop that thing out. So we got to get these half shafts loose and out so that we can get this transmission down. So we've got these cotter pins out of these. We could take it two different ways. We could take these bolts out right here and just move the thing back, or we could bust this ball joint loose, pull the arm down, and then push this whole strut assembly over. Now we definitely would have more room if we took these tie rods off as well, but we'll see where we get. Let's zip these bolts off. Let's see how much noise this makes. Less in a shorter amount of time. All right, let's go ahead and do this one real quick while it's in your hand. Now, while you got the nut handy, put them back in. Let's see how far they go. But before you do that, I'm going to take a little bit of penetrating oil on the threads. All right, go ahead. Now, screw them. Let me see, are they castle nuts?
Yeah.
Put them on backwards. So the flat side. And just keep on going until that's a yep. Do the same thing on the other side, but you see there's still a little bit of a gap.
There's a little bit.
So what we'll do is we'll get the screw jack and we'll put it under there.
Back it up.
Yeah, try to jack it up. What you're doing is you're loading the suspension on that stud, but you're evening the load on that stud since that nut is screwed all the way around it, so you're not going to mushroom the bolt with the nut screwed back on, especially with it backwards. So you're going to put some pressure on it, bind up that exhaust, and then we're going to crack it loose just by smacking it with a hammer on the side right here. So keep on going, get some good pressure on it, but you want to make sure that you're holding it so it doesn't flop off, because it can just
it's
come off and
it's really close to my finger.
all right, so what's fun is how dangerous it is. So now that it's just hanging on by a thread and almost ready to fall off, and the spring pressure is really bearing down on it, now we're going to hit it with a hammer. All right, hold this. So there's all kinds of different hammers, but in this case I like big hammers. But before I do this, I'm going to even up, and then
It's sliding.
you see that? That was for safety. All right, now for the real part. But first, more pressure.
Jump for my brake shield.
Now, I always like to look cool before I do repairs, so, oh well, actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. Even though they're foggy. Now, tell me in the comments what I damaged and what I did wrong and how bad of a job I just did. Whoa. Now, is this even going to come back off? Yeah, that came off no problem. Sometimes, if this pops loose, the whole thing can just go wham and blow out that way. See? Now earlier we took this nut off. Come over here. So the back of this CV shaft is curved, so I'm hunting for a spot that's actually going to grip it, and I just now found it. Wasn't that exciting? So what do you think? Should I let my vaping friend do the CV axle the same way I did it on this side, all by himself, or do you think he should do it a different way? Tell me in the comments. I don't even know how he's planning on doing the other side, but he might even be considering doing it just like I did it. I don't even know. We'll see what ends up happening, but I'll get him whatever tools he wants.
Nah, we'll probably do it.
I really don't care what method he takes. I'm just here to document the process.
Out here in the wilds with a Subaru Rome, I see a man working on his broke down.
I will give you a plethora of tools
Thankfully, he
at
has a
your
workshop
disposal.
to work in.
Please do not hurt yourself.
We won't know that till after the
I
fact.
wash my hands of all liability, and I do not want you to damage yourself anyway.
Jared's Performance Shop is for off-road use only. Do everything at your own risk.
I'm only liable for myself.
Partially.
Yeah. Look, he's even hitting the stand like haphazardly. Oh, this is some teeth are getting just.
That was it.
What?
Mine went on way easier than yours did.
He didn't even do the full compression stroke. Oh, maybe he did. That was pretty. We'll see what happens when it comes all the way apart. That was just the easy part. Now's the tricky part. Is dropped and you're not fighting the sway bar, but yeah, what you're doing is a little bit more safe than jacking up, but also you can potentially scar up the threads, but I think you're fine.
I guess it's just
Now you have to be careful with the boot, but yeah. And then also you don't want to hyperextend your joints in here, so you want to be careful, because if you just, sometimes you can pull the socket completely out, and then it can be a hassle.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, before you do that, it might be helpful to make sure that this is loose. Is this loose?
What?
Is this?
I took the nut off.
Yeah, but is the shaft loose? Will it push through? And if you have to, you can put. Yeah. All right, you're good.
Oh, now I'm good to pry?
If it was stuck, then after you got the inside out, then
You
you'd
would
still
hyperextend the boot trying to pull it out the other
you could
way.
still hit it with a hammer, but you'd be floppy in the back, and it would just be more difficult.
Nobody likes it floppy in the back.
No. And then this is just a little bit difficult to. You'll see, it might be hard to get a good little pry spot.
I got a good spot there, but it,
Did you? You got to give it a nice little. Careful with that aluminum, but you got to give it a nice, just quick nudge.
I realized a second ago I was on a bolt.
And on the very back of it, there's a seal. There's a seal flange. Yep. You just pop it loose, and then now you can. Now you see what I'm saying a little bit. You can get stuck in there, but it'll slide right out.
I might have to. Should I punch? Oh.
Bet you it comes out now. Now look at what he's got. He's got a dang old transmission just hanging there by the mount. So,
My
probably,
Subaru is now rear wheel drive.
let's get all them bell housing bolts out. Are they all out yet?
I got some lowers to get.
We got some lowers. Let's get them out. We got shift linkage. Right now he's getting the nut off the stay rod. And then the one above it is for the shifting. A little bit of a tight clearance there.
Not with all the teeth in these tools.
Let's see what happens. Would you look at that? That is literal success. Now we have one more. What's going to happen with that one?
The wrong way with it.
He said he's going the wrong way with it.
I don't know where that mystery hand came from, but it's helpful in scenarios as such.
Did you hear that, folks? He said he's never used one of these fancy contraptions before. Let's see him yank it out.
I need to jack it up more. No, we're really close to the top.
I'll say we're pretty high. You might want to come down just a little bit, and then I would try to shake the tail shaft vigorously, or maybe.
I don't even know how to come down with this thing. Oh. There's some movement there. Is it supposed to be safe level of play? I think I'll need a pry bar.
Maybe go up just a little bit with the jack. All right. It's maybe,
Maybe too much again.
yeah. Yeah, you'll probably need the pry bar. Yeah. I'm surprised it's not wiggling more. Did it start coming?
Oh, the bottom's free.
Maybe try on this other side.
I guess at least that bottom corner is free. Oh.
Jack, you need to jack it up a little bit more. All right. Did that make it worse? Or?
You were giggling about something.
No.
Is this weight gonna change anything when you take it out? Oh shit. The whole front of the engine is moving shit. Think on it. Engine's ready to get. Ow, that hurt. Forget your helmet, kids.
No. Just watch your. I'll help you try to get these out of the way.
Uh-oh.
Ta-da!
Oh.
Look at that. Beautiful. Subaru.
Heavy Fuji industry.
Do you need the hammer? I like to put things together with a hammer.
What?
Then this pivot ball. Let's try to articulate.
I mean, it's better than I thought it would.
So we actually did get a pick in there and popped it over the shoulder. So now we have perfect articulation. Fulcrum action. All right, let's get this thing done. We got a clutch to take out, what, a rear main seal to put in.
I mean, we can just do it anyways. I got a Timekin one. It's, you know, reputable brand from what I've heard, but I just got it in case it was leaking. If it's not leaking, we can, I don't know.
No, it looks like it's leaking. Let's take this clutch out with this. Now you're gonna need a 3/8 or 1/2 inch.
It wasn't bad.
Well, the flywheel bolts just came out. Flywheel's coming off.
Oh, that's heavy.
We have seepage, folks. seepage. So we cleaned this up a little bit. Now we're replacing this rear main seal. Now you have to be extremely careful when doing this method, but this fine screw did not want to start itself. But what I did was I got a super tiny drill bit, and you have, like I said, you have to be extremely careful, because what you really don't want to do is you don't want to get the drill bit into your crankshaft. That would be horrific. If you got it into this aluminum, it wouldn't be that bad, because you could install the seal with some silicone. And if it's on this part, if it's around the housing, you're all right. But no, you need a perfectly flush crankshaft on this seal right here. So this is not for the faint-hearted right here. You got to take the drill bit and carefully put it right about the middle of the seal, and then you can carefully take your Phillips screwdriver and screw it in. And I got this screw screwed in about 3/4 of the way, maybe halfway. And now I'm gonna take it just like this, and I'm just gonna gently roll my seal right out, just like that. And now pull in there and show how the seal went in. Now we're about to install the new one, so let's install this new one. All right. Look at that seal right there. You see that? Some Permatex on the outside and some silicone paste on the inside. Nobody does it like me. Now that's that extra layer of protection. Now let's check this installation. Actually, I need the light up here. The camera might be getting in the way. Now, wipe as much as I can up. Now here's the trick. So I've got this, I need to actually install the seal. So I've got the perfect adapter here to really get it on the edge of the seal all the way around, so I'm not actually damaging anything. And then I'd really like to be out here to hit it, but let's see what happens. About perfect. I'm just gonna wipe it clean. That's it right there. Actually, I'm gonna go a little bit more on the bottom. And that would be perfection. So I cleaned the oil off of it, and we had this center pilot bearing, but before the pilot bearing went in, these screws back here were loose from the box from the factory. So I snugged those screws up, and then the old one had the pilot bearing flush with this flywheel. It was replaced. Someone else replaced it at some point. So I don't know if I'm just going by what they did, but the pilot bearing is installed. I used this right here and just tapped it into place by this outer race. Never want to tap it into place with the inner race. Flushed it up. Now let's go ahead and install it. You actually got torque specs?
Sure.
You're tightening something to specifications?
Somebody's specifications.
What is it? People love specifications. They love them.
Oh, it's...
Oh, come on.
53.1.
53.1 foots per Newton meters?
Newtons per foot meter.
Oh, okay.
53.1
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I'm doing the star pattern. I'm like...
Star pattern too? Did you go in like 10 stages?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about, are you considering the extensions and
I put them into the equation. You
did?
see, if you're going this far out, and then this far is, that's like 2.
You're gonna have rotational torsion of 2.8 degrees.
Okay, I put it to 55, so give a little extra
All right.
to it.
I'm glad. Okay, we got it straightened out. Got more torquing going on. Did you put the alignment? Yeah, you got the alignment tool in. You're torquing, and next step is putting it back together. The torque apparently was 11 foot-pounds, but I think he's going with 20. So it's probably gonna snap apart since he's over-engineering the torque specs.
The 2.5s don't have enough torque, so I figure if I add them here, it will naturally gain more torque.
We're adding torque in the gearbox.
That's a...
Will it run? Will it move? Will it start? Let's go.